It's time for the Gettin Outdoors podcast, Town Country United Bank Lake Millis Ferry Weekend Hunting and Fishing Report. A weekly update on water conditions, ramp events, generating schedule, what's biting, and seasonal hunting information with outdoor reporters Joe Allen Dunn, Kevin Sims, and Shane Jones. This weekly hunting and fishing report is brought to you by the good folks at Town Country United Bank in Camden, Alabama, serving their customers for over 40 years. Town Country United Bank's highest priority is satisfied customers. Now, here's your weekend Lake Millis Ferry hunting and fishing report.
Come summertime, we're feeling fine, fishing on the lake, flipping jigs and Carolina rigs, from early morning till real late. Bonfires on the creek bank, kick back a couple beers. Yeah, we command the outdoors around here. Yeah, we command the outdoors. Yeah, we command the outdoors. Next year's does until you know winter's on the way. Brushing blinds and deer stands. Fever starts to creep. Fill our freezers full of ducks, lots of tender deer. Yeah, we command the outdoors around here. Yeah, we command the outdoors. Yeah, we
another one on the B&B
command
Silver
the outdoors. So grab your guns and shells, boys. Put on your camouflage. 'Cause we command the outdoors around here. We command the outdoors.
Team Bigfoot in the house.
James Jones Crockett.
Got it.
First one, 2023, smackdown.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report from the Gettin Outdoors podcast number 252 for the weekend of January the 19th through the 21st, 2024. And it's cold outside, boys. Got my outdoor reporter Joe Allen Dunn and Shane Jones. Kevin must be fixing pipes at the mill tonight, Joel.
I guess so. And you're right, it's cold. Last night I had to add 3 blankets to my bed, and the top of my head got so cold, I went and had to put a toboggan on to keep warm down there at the river camp.
Well, you know what you need to do is cut the damn heat on. You know what he say?
Yeah, he got a big old fireplace. He could have slept in there on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, I did, but it was still cold. Now, I had that fire going. I had the front heater going. I had 2 or 3 electric heaters going. But, buddy, on that river, that north wind at 14 to 13 degree temperature, there ain't nothing way you can keep that house warm.
I just got through replaying what I did this week for the podcast because I didn't want to bother nobody in this cold weather. I replayed a podcast I did with Daniel Bumgarner of Wildlife Management Solutions last January, and he's talking about getting your soil samples and getting ready for your soil ready for your spring and summer planting. But we talked about the last Christmas, it got down to, remember, 8 degrees on Christmas morning because I had Grant Gaston and little Stoudemire, and they were talking about they went duck hunting that morning. And man, that's when the water temperature got down to, first time I can ever remember, it got down to 38 degrees in the river. That's the first time I ever remember it. That was last year.
That's cold. That's real cold.
It darn sure is. And, it's going to be cold this weekend, too. I tell you, it is not, it hadn't gone anywhere. It is going to be cold. And it's, it's just the end of January. We still got February to go. It usually starts warming up about the last 2 weeks in February when everything starts to greening up a little bit. But
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna talk about what we know about best tonight. And first thing I want to remind everybody, and Shane, me and you like to keep this a secret, but the Alabama public fishing lakes are going to open up February the 1st. Now, for those of you who fish Bibb County Lake and Dallas County Lake, those crappie been laying dormant for a while, Shane, and they gonna be chomping when they open them gates.
Yeah, they'll be running, and if you got the equipment to chase them, it's a lot of fun.
And of
I'm
course,
gonna have new equipment to try out.
well, that'd be a good place to try it out, wouldn't it, Shane?
Oh yeah, Lord, yeah. Like I said, people don't realize, man, the cold don't bother the fish. It's the fisherman.
Yeah,
I mean, you get out there and Bray's real bad about freezing up more than fluorocarbon or mono, but those fish are back. If you could, but right now you're dealing with muddy water and cold, and it would take a dedicated person to get out there and chase them right now. But you can still catch them.
yeah, dedicated person like Shane Jones, not Joe Allen of BDL.
Hey, you got to dress for it, man. I ordered me a new suit just a little while ago. You can't go out there unprepared. I mean, you can't. Hand warmers, a heater if you have to, good boots. Go down to Joe Allen's, get you some good socks and some polypropylene liners. And you can't, just like you're hunting, you can't go out there and expect to be warm if you don't wear the right stuff.
And what's worth its weight in gold right now is those hot hands. Those hot hands, I'm telling you, don't go nowhere without them.
People don't understand what Shane said about them polypropylene liners. That gets the moisture away from your foot, and your foot doesn't get cold. You don't have to have a bunch of socks. You just have to have a base sock and that liner to wick that moisture away from your foot, and they stay warm then.
That's exactly right. Like I said, the hand warmers, my dad used to actually duct tape hand warmers on his chest and his kidneys, but take duct tape over his long johns, then dress over them. That son gun stay out there hunting all day. I mean, but I mean, you just got to prepare for it. I mean, that's right. I wear a little paintball mask to keep the wind off my face. Because I tell people that go fish with me, once you get cold, you're not going to get warm. So the best thing to do is not get cold first. You can always take it off.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's nothing worse than being out there and getting cold. It's nothing worse. Let's go back to the public lakes now. Bibb County Lake, Dallas County Lake, both have great managers. And then Monroe County Lake is not going to have a manager this year. They are going to open up, but you're going to have to buy your permits and your licenses and everything online before you go to Monroe County Lake. Same way with Washington County Lake. So remember that if you're planning a trip to one of our public lakes, Beatrice in Monroe County, or down in Millry at Washington County, you got to buy your permits online before you go. They're not going to be available at the lake. Bibb County and Monroe and Dallas County, they will be. So heads up on that. Also, I got a message today, Joe Allen, from my old buddy Wayne Webb. You remember Wayne Webb, don't you?
Oh yeah.
He used to live up here. He sent me a message, and his first martin showed up. He's down there around Tallahassee, Florida, on the west side. The east side of Florida, and his first martin showed up today. So anybody, you better be getting them martin boxes cleaned out or put up. Bluebird boxes cleaned out. Hummingbird feeders cleaned up, and your wood duck boxes up, Joe Allen.
I got to get Travis on that. But I cleaned my martin box and got it all ready to put back up on the pole. And because I told you, I think it was last week or week before, I saw two Carolina wrens running around trying to find them a spot already.
Yeah. Now, Carolina wrens will nest in a 16-ounce solo cup and don't leave no 4x4 out there or Polaris Ranger and leave the glove box open. They'll go up in there, too. My sister-in-law has shut down our Polaris Rangers in the spring for about 20 days till the birds hatch and fly out of there.
Well, I put a gourd on the porch for the wrens this year.
Nesting them, I guarantee you. But anyway, it's getting that time. It ain't gonna be long. We're gonna be talking about the springtime coming. All right. One more thing I wanted to talk about, Shane, while we got you on here, because John and Jessica, and we'll talk about them in a minute when we talk about the crappie fishing. But they are one of their primary sponsors is Outlaw rock poles, rods, and Joe Allen has just become a dealer for Outlaw poles. And let's talk about them a minute. I know y'all have told me about that 5-foot rod, and they make a 14-foot rod too, don't they? Shane, talk about those.
This little 5-foot rod that John and Jessica, that's all they use, casting. It's a good little old rod. It's got a short butt for when you have a lot of clothes on, but plenty of backbone, guys. It's priced real good, and I'll be straight up with you. Me and John's abused these things, just seeing what all they could do. And they're really good for live scoping and shooting docks, and they're priced really well. And they make 10-footers, 8-footers. Like I said, I have a 14-footer back here. You can buy a section to make it a 15-footer if you want to for those long rod guys. Plus, Amos and them, they're just good folks, man. They sponsor a lot of good people, and it's just nice to be able to get a decent product from some good people.
And I think that 5-foot that y'all call it, now tell them why y'all call it a fat man's rod.
Well, what it is, guys, when you fish, when you put that butt next to your belly, it doesn't get in your belly, so you're way out here reeling. You can keep it in here kind of tight, shake it. It's just got a short butt, but I'm telling y'all, don't let the size of this thing fool you. It's stout. It's got a little bit of tip and a lot of backbone, and I've caught some 2.5-pound crappie on them.
And they about in the $50 price range.
I think something like that. They're not bad at all. They're at all.
Everybody needs one of those in the boat. So Joe Allen, when you order, you better get a bunch of them. Those things are gonna sell.
Yeah, they will. I try to put it in people's hands when they get in my boat, even though I've got another rod company that I use, but I still have these guys since they support the show. I have them, and Joe Allen called me. He's like, "Hey, I got to get another fishing rod line at the store," and I was like, "Man, just call old Amos and get you some Outlaw rods, and they'll sell themselves."
Well, the thing about that short rod too is the way you use it, Shane, and I got to learn to do that all the time. A lot of people want to cast.
Right.
Especially when you're using a lot, you need to learn to shoot all the time.
Yes, sir, I do. It's
cast, and that rod that way is more accurate and pinpoint. You put your jig right where you want it. Even if you're in open water, you always shoot it straight to where you want it. And that's the thing about that short rod. People need to really learn how to use it.
Right. Yeah, you shoot it. And also, when you shoot it, guys, your line's next to the water. It's low. If the wind's blowing, it's not all rainbowed up, then pushing your jig away from the fish. Even if you're casting a brush with no live scope, if you can get right in there on the brush or under the dock or in the dock slip or whatever, it makes you more accurate. But you can sit around the house and practice that. I mean, I've got a video on my YouTube channel, that shows you how to shoot a jig, and it's not rocket science. It just takes some reps to get used to it.
Well, a lot of people just under the old conception, you reel back.
Oh, yeah.
You're way more accurate shooting every time, always.
Right, because you consistently shoot 25 foot. Anybody can. Once you get used to it.
When you under an umbrella in the summertime, or you shoot,
yes, sir.
I mean, the more you shoot, the more accurate you get, and it really ain't that hard.
No, sir. And you got other people in the boat. You ain't got to worry about hooking them. If somebody's standing there watching you running live scope or just watching you fish, you ain't got to worry about hooking them. And
you got your dip net sticking up straight like me and Shane do,
Yes, sir. That's right. They're just they welcome the message, man. I'll help them anyway. There's a certain way you want to hold that head of that jig and pinch the head and stay away from that hook. And hey, you're just more efficient. I guess the word we're looking for. You're just more efficient and accurate for sure.
All right, let's go to this weekend's Town Country United Bank hunting and fishing report, and we'll start off with the catfish. And of course, Travis, I guess, is our ambassador out there catfishing. He went jugging the other day and caught a good mess of fish, not no big ones, but he caught a lot of good keepers. I saw Stacy Gaston down there below the dam the other day in that rough water. I didn't never see whether he caught any fish or not, but I couldn't help think about old Lonnie Ray, Joe Allen, when that water went up like that.
I did. I guarantee he caught some. He might not have showed us no video, but he caught some. And the main thing I think with the catfish right now is that the shad are finally showing up. You better go get some bait if you know where to get it at.
Well, I understand that that your protege, Travis, went out last night, not last night, night before last, and
Yep.
and got some in that dead gum frigid weather. Now you got to be strong to go throw a cast net out there, but he knew where to go.
Yeah, and he caught some great old big hickory shad, the one he likes. And I talked to his partner that goes with him doing that, and he told me what all they did. I saw him in the Piggly Wiggly, and I questioned him down. Wouldn't let him get away. I found out all the information. Then I called Travis. No, what'd you talk about? I didn't get no shad. I ain't got no shad. I said, you lying. You better bring me some. I want some of them.
You know what he told me? He said,
No,
"Don't tell Joe Allen they down there in his freezer, but he won't never look in there, so he'll never know it."
no, they wasn't in there because I went and looked.
But anyhow, the catfishing has changed, hadn't it, Joe Allen? What the water is back down. It's not normal pool, but it's a little high. But they
Yep.
still got all the floodgates open, running all the generating units around the clock. But what do you do? Is the limb line still in play? I mean,
Yeah.
jugs. What you do?
Yes, they like everything else. We with us seeing the shad starting to make a move, then everything else is going to start to make a move a little bit. And I ain't saying they all done went to the sloughs, but they are making that move. And we said, like I said, about the second week of February, they'll probably all be in shallow water somewhere, getting ready to spawn. The fish, the time of the day, everybody thinks that just is with the deer and everything when they rut, but it also triggers all our fish, to go to thinking about going shallow as soon as that water warms up. But it triggers them now to start feeding, get ready to go that way. And the catfish are going to be going that way. Another high water would make it perfect, but they all ain't went there that way yet, but some have.
Well, it's getting time. It's getting time. Now, I don't know anything about bass fishing. The only thing I know about bass fishing is my inbox has been loaded with Bridgeport Team Trail, Jeremy Bass's tournaments. It is a lot of tournament trails fixing to get started in February at Bridgeport City Landing, Roland Cooper State Park, Selma City Marina, and Demopolis City Marina. It's a lot of bass fishing fixing to go on. Now, I'm going to try to keep up with all of it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Gilbert Town announced their tournament trail the other day. It's just so many tournaments. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with them. But if y'all will send them all to me, I will definitely get them up there one time. My calendar is full right now in February and March, and really all the way through October with bass tournament. And Trey Wade's doing a great job with the Bridgeport City Landing Facebook page. You can go see it too. But it is a tournament. If you're a bass fisherman, it is a tournament on Lake Miller's Ferry, Selma, Demopolis, just about every weekend. I mean, it's really and Mr. Bob Hale's doing a big tournament up there in Demopolis up there, that big money tournament. So
Well, that'd be somebody you need to get on your Friday morning live show somehow. If he's keeping up with it at Bridgeport, he would have his hands on everything probably.
Yeah, he is. He keeps up with it. If you go visit, if you hadn't already liked the Bridgeport City Landing website, Facebook page, you need to go do that because Brian Cannon wants to know where his hero is. Brian Cannon's over there in Marengo County killing all them big bucks. I guess we hadn't heard from him, Brian. I reckon he's fixing water pipes at the paper mill. That's the only thing I can figure. All right, let's talk about crappie fishing. Shane, you went to Florida this weekend. Give us a recap on that. I don't know how many people are going to go down there, but give us a recap.
Oh yeah, well it's the same scenario here. They had as much rain as we get, guys, and that lake it takes a lot of water to get it stained up, and it was stained up, so all those schools I was chasing scattered out. Shad were still schooled up, but the crappie were spaced out, and you had to put it on their nose to get them to bite, and had to cover a lot of water. But hey, we still up catching 40-something fish. Black and chartreuse was a color. I think we ended up throwing a lot of 8s. They were 12, 13, 14 foot down, but they bit. Like I told, we were discussing earlier, they'll still bite. You just gotta, finding a bunch of them bunched up right now in that muddy water probably is not going to happen. But they're still out there biting. You might pick up 3 or 4 on treetop or in a slough, out of the current. You just have to go hunt them. It's gonna be. Go ahead, Big Daddy.
Dale Woodard's the only one I know that did any crappie fishing this week. He's learning that live scope.
Right.
Good. John and Jessica, they went today in that cold weather.
John did. He said a lot of them had a bad attitude, but he caught some big fish. They're it's a shock just so much to those fish when that water cools off like that. But once it stabilizes, people don't understand. Warm or cold, you get about 3 days of stable weather, whether it be cold or warm. Those fish are going to adjust. They're going to find their bait, and they're going to eat if you can get out there and stand it. Like this weekend. Man, I suggest going to Joe Dunn's shop and, hey, look around, get you some warm clothes. And, hey, nobody's telling you to go out there at daylight. Good thing about crappie fishing, guys, you ain't got to go out there at no daylight. You go out there at 10 o'clock. Let it warm on up, Fish from 10 to 2 o'clock or whatever and get off the water. Even if you don't do nothing but just ride around marking stuff and looking at different stuff. Even if you don't fish, don't put that much pressure on yourself. Just go out there, look for stuff.
Is that in Reuben, Florida, them black and chartreuse jigs, what they're hitting now?
Yes, sir. That's what you need to be throwing. That black and chartreuse is pretty strong right now. I threw a silver and chartreuse a little bit, but like I said, those blackfish, Eric's probably right when we had him on the show. I don't think blackfish see as well as whitefish do in that muddy water. I just don't think as far as a species they do. And you got to put it on their nose, or real tight to them to catch some fish. But they're biting. Like I said, I think the high Saturday here is in the 30s. Sunday's going to be a pretty good day because you're not going to have a lot of wind. So, hey, man, get you some breakfast and, ease out there and look around.
Shane, talking about Eric Cagle on the crappie cast last Thursday night, I listened to it very, very closely. And,
oh, yeah.
It kind of surprised me when he had a entirely different take on muddy water than you had.
Oh yeah.
You told me the difference is where he's fishing in that lake system and where you fishing in that river system makes a difference.
Exactly. The coastal river chain stays primary clear all the time. And those fish get adjusted to. They're raised in clear water. The Alabama River, Demopolis, Tom Bigby fish. Don't let that muddy water scare you. When I met Joe Allen, a couple of years ago, I went right below his house, and that water looked like cardboard, and I was stroking them. And it was, in late February and April. I mean, don't let it scare you.
Shane, tell that story.
It was funny, guys. I didn't know my way around Miller's Ferry, and I went right – Joe Allen said, man, you put in my Ellis's and fish around my house. I said, yes, sir. So I eased down there and went in a slough, and it was muddy. I dropped that trolling motor, 2-pounder, caught another pound 80, caught a pound and a halfer. I said, man, it's going to be fun. So I wrecked probably 30-something fish, and Joe Allen come idling in there, and he said, Shane, it's too muddy for me. And he turned around before I could even get him. I said, heck, I'm going to let him go on. So I got to his house, I'd eat, and I started dumping him in his sink. He said, hey, now, where'd you catch him at? I said, right down there where you see me. He said, oh, I got to go with you. So he went with me the next morning, and he caught 1 2-pound first cast. He was like, well, and then, like I said, the water didn't have a lot of silt in it. It was just muddy water, but that's a true story. That's been 2 years ago, I guess.
I
Now.
remember him coming on the show that Wednesday night, and he said that you had changed his mind about muddy water.
Yeah, that water was muddy, too. I got some videos back. I mean, it was chocolate milk, and those fish they didn't mind, especially those white crappie. They don't mind it. They're hunters,
Because me and Donna come in the next weekend. You was in there with a client.
Yes,
and y'all was catching them. I went past and I was catching them, holding them up, showing them. We was all fast in there.
We sure was. Like I said, don't let all that, don't let all of it scare you. But it's been muddy a few times by this time of the year, and that I don't like clear water. I mean, I don't say I don't fish it. I just don't like clear water. They get to look at your bait too long. They got too much time to decide if they want it. So put you a bright color jig on there. Hey, put it on them or beat some stumps, beat some brush piles, and hey, you never know, man. I mean, you just don't know. Just like this weekend, if you're brave enough to put enough clothes on, you liable to stroke them. I mean, there's no telling. I mean, you don't know. You just don't know till you go.
That's right. You got to go. Hey, Shane and Joe Allen, I got some good news this week from the Roland Cooper State Park. They are going to do the big crappie day.
Right.
I think the tentative date is May the 18th. Delta Crappie Series is going to have a tournament up here. And also the Crappie Cast. What do y'all calling it, Shane?
Crappie. I got to get you to make me a flyer, Big Daddy. I thought about that today. Crappie Cast Kings of the River. Mm-hmm. We're going to get some belts made. I found a place that's reasonable on the belts, and there's not a whole lot of lead time with them. And we're going to I'm going to invite some people from Georgia, and everybody's kind of talking about it. Shiloh, we're going to talk about it a little bit on the show, but we're going to get a flyer and get it put out there, guys. And, man, the good thing about that tournament, guys, when the weigh-in, Big Daddy's going to be there, John's going to be seeing it, you'll be able to talk to some people that are hammers, that catch a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Face-to-face. There won't be any Facebook between y'all or messages. You'll be able to see them face-to-face. So fish the tournament because it's April the 6th. There's big fish all on the bank. You could sit there in Bridgeport Landing and can win the thing right there. You never know. Fishing from the bank. I mean, don't put that past anybody. So
the only thing that same day Maddie has got a Bridgeport team trail scheduled that day. I reckon.
Does she? I didn't know.
He didn't have it down when he told us, but that ain't gonna hurt nothing. And they weigh in at I think they weigh in at 1:00. So
we can plan it. We can plan it after them or whatever. It's no big deal. We can come in later or whatever. It's not a big. We can get along with them guys.
That's a big landing. There's a lot of parking.
Oh yeah,
plenty of room.
Oh yeah, we'll probably start out later or something. Give them time to get gone because them guys are serious. We out there having fun. So
yeah, there you go. All right, let's talk about ducks, Joe Allen. You got to see firsthand 13 degrees this morning, and at least one duck hunter go down the river.
Yes, he woke me up, too. I heard several shots, and I think it was first I thought there's a rat in there bumping around getting some, in the house. I said, there's another rat over there. Then it kept on. I said, no, that's somebody shooting. And about 9:30, here comes boat by the mud boat. He had the mud motor going. I said, now that he is dedicated very much.
I ain't gonna get out there. I can tell you that. But anyway, that's what them duck hunters love. What about small game? Is Dixie and Sarah and Lobo? Have they got a chance to hunt yet this year?
Well, Dixie and has been going. Scott M's got some. He hadn't given any more, but Sarah did kill. Tree won the other about last week, one morning, and I went ahead out there and shot the squirrel for her, and she was so happy. I come out there and killed the squirrel, and got to get them together and let's go.
Well, ain't but one thing to do, and that's going. I see Jared Hudson's on here. He's been doing some coon hunting. This is coon hunting weather too. And I tell you what, it's just a great time to be outdoors. It is cold, but like Shane and Joe Allen say, just get prepared. What about the cold weather gear at Dunn Sports, Joe Allen? You got plenty left? Is it getting out of that fast?
And Bubba is in a deal-making mood. So you come in and say, wait, what is this? How much? Bubba will say, no, that ain't right. Come on, let's look at it. We'll knock 30 to 40 to 50% off right now. And with cold weather, all this weather now, we got still plenty of coats, jackets, thermals. We got heaters, we got propane bottles, we got it all. And that's a big thing. Them heaters make a big deal if you sit in a shooting house. You ain't got to worry about too much cold weather gear if you buy your heater and put some propane bottles in and light that thing up. You'll stay toasty while you in the shooting house.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right, what about tomorrow night on Crappie Cash, Shane? What we're going to talk about? Who we got on?
Shiloh's going to come on there with us. I talked to John today. We're going to talk about some, continue with the cold weather and what you need to do and what you need to look for and what they're going to do after this high water and, start talking about the transition to the February. It's coming too. But we're going to just, like I said, we answer some questions. We have a good time on there, man. Always do.
Now, y'all give away an outlaw rod every other show, don't you?
Yes, sir. Not this week, but the next week we will be. We will be giving that same rod I was showing you Joe Allen's going to sell at the store. We give one away every other show. We just gave away one last week. I think Philip Dodson won it. Yep.
Outlaw's got some good little old reels too that goes on them rods.
Oh yeah, they're just, like I said, they're just good people, and they sponsor Tim, they sponsor John and Jessica. Man, I can't name them all, but they that's all John and Jessica use. I mean, yeah, that's all they use. Besides, John will get his cane pole out there and catch a few every night.
Where are they based out of, Shane?
Don't let me tell you no lie. I think is it Arkansas or Oklahoma? I'll have to look and see, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they up there somewhere in the Midwest for sure. I looked at it because I talked to him the other day when he was doing mine. He was heading up north somewhere, going to a show when I texted him my license stuff and all that. But yeah, it's over to the Midwest over there somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Oklahoma, Arkansas. Let me look. I'm looking around right now.
I know it's cold wherever he lives at. He was talking
about it's cold.
Hell, it's cold anywhere in the United States right now.
It is, that for sure. It's they're really cold. I talked to one of my buddies at pipe fitter in Indiana. It was -8.
God damn.
That's ugh.
Well, we missed old Kevin tonight. I don't know a thing about rodeo. We'll catch up with that next week. But I think we covered about everything we can cover the way it's going. It's tough right now on the fishermen and the fish, but it is going to get better. And y'all we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. And we try every week to cover something different and give you some different information. And I'll tell you right now, I got the best outdoor reporters in the industry. And between Shane and Joe Allen and Kevin, I guarantee you, they have many, many years of experience in the outdoors, and they don't mind sharing it with y'all. And I appreciate it.
No, I get, like I said, I spend when I'm not working, about all night returning messages and phone calls, trying to help everybody get ready to catch some fish. And that's why we started the podcast. So.
Let's see, we had a message for you a while ago. Let's see let me find it. Brian Cannon, that's Kevin's buddy, said, please take my working partner, Doug, fishing and show him how to run his live scope where I can catch some fish instead of wasting time.
I understand, Brian. I mean, On a serious note, if you can pay a guide to go out and show you how to run it, and you can do that, guys. I'm just telling you, it cuts the learning curve down.
If you're going to spend that much money on electronics, go ahead and spend enough on somebody like you or John or Gerald Overstreet or
Exactly.
somebody that does that. Go ahead and spend the extra money and let them go out there and show you how to set it up and run it. Because you're not going to learn it in 2 hours. You know,
Right.
you're not going to learn it in 2 hours, but y'all can show them the basics.
Right. Well, you can exactly. People, you're exactly right. The layout of the way the live scope is, the cone, your lures, what to do when the fish approaches your lure. That's the thing. Once you start seeing your bait, you got to know what to do with that bait as far as the fish is concerned. Because you don't want, if they're on fire, yeah, you can't do any wrong. But if they're not, that's when you really start, you really start learning is what to do with that bait and everything, especially if you're going to use live scopes.
It's not just live scope, it's boat control.
Oh, yeah.
Casting accuracy, and it's knowing what you're looking at. I don't know how many people sit on a dead gum hole for an hour throwing a darn jig at a carp or a darn drum or buffalo.
Well, I carried a guy Sunday, and he went with me before, and it was amazing how much better he was this trip than he was the last trip. But he learned when your jig comes by that fish and that fish starts approaching your jig, how far he is from that jig is how fast you reel. If he's got a big gap, you slow down just a hair. If he's on it, you speed it up. And that's a trick. You learn fishing a lot.
Well, with the live scope, the person needs to get with somebody like you, because I had a friend that set his own stuff all up and he had his transducer backwards. He was looking behind the boat.
I've seen that happen a lot. I've seen them sideways. I've seen them all kinds of stuff.
And it's a lot to setting the thing up to where you showed me that. You got to know exactly.
Uh-oh. There he comes.
Well, he done let his damn phone battery run out again.
All right. But you got to look at that. I mean, a lot is the setup. And
yes, you got it. That's exactly right. Don't handicap yourself from the initial setup. You're exactly right.
And
all right, what you gonna do this week? You got to go back to Florida this weekend, ain't you?
I actually left my boat on Lake Talcon because I had 2 trips lined up, and there's some older gentlemen. They said it was going to be too cold for them, and then a guy was carrying his wife, and he didn't want to have her out there. I said, well, I'm going anyway, so don't pay attention to my Facebook because I'm going to go down there and rackle.
Yeah. What about you, Joe Allen? You gonna try anything this weekend, or you gonna maybe get a chance to put all your electronics on?
No, I'm on deer hunt. It'll be another next week. Alden goes on his long off. Then he's gonna set me up, and then after that, I'll be itching to get out there. But I need to get that video into you with killing a deer, and then Kevin's gonna do that probably this weekend, because I look. Next weekend they talk about whether temperature's going to be in the 70s back down here again.
It will be. I hope we don't get a lot of rain. They're calling for some rain a little bit, and I think you said it's going to be in the 60s all week, 60s and 50s. So big difference.
I ain't been waiting on that video now, but going on 3 years. So
I'm got to get it. We're going to do it.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again for the Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report. Shane and Joe Allen, great job. We missed Kevin. He'll be back next week. And thank y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel on the Gettin Outdoors podcast, Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report.
Pap taught me every critter's track and how to set a hair trigger on a trap. He taught me to shoot, scale, and skin and make a snare with a leather strap. He taught me to be a part of the woods and all his woodsy tricks. Said you gotta walk soft on 2 light feet and try not to break no stick. I thank Daddy for my savvy, how to hunt and how to carry anything that I might need to get a piece of skillet meat. How to walk and how to hide, how to crawl and how to slide, how to sneak, stalk, and climb and do it all on 2 light feet.